Hilalia, you look great there. Look at that. The royal drapes behind you.
Just from my house and my kitchen, or, near the kitchen.
There you go. Well, we are live, and good morning, and welcome to Cafecito con Colon. Let's make sure this post goes public, which it is now public, and we are going to share that to our story. Good morning and welcome to Cafecito con Colon. We have a great episode on this Sábado Gigante. We have brought really a trifecta of dynamic leaders to be with us today. My name is Brian Colon. It's an honor and privilege to host Cafecito con Colon on this Saturday morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, the 15th day of May. Don't forget, taxes are due on Monday. So don't forget, May 17th, that's tax day this year. It's a little different than usual. And so like everything else, everything is a little different right now. And one thing that is the same is that I am honored to be able to shine a spotlight on excellent leaders in our community and excellent organizations. And today we get to do both. We brought three wonderful women to be with us on Cafecito con Colon to highlight the great work and great education going on at Los Puentes Charter School. They've been making a difference in this community for 20 years now. They opened up in 2001, and we're really thrilled to be able to help tell their story. And that's what we're going to do. Now, to start, usually I have a bunch of links, but today we're not going to do the links. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes before I bring these super stars to camera. I wanted to just tell you, I think most of you follow me on Facebook, and so you know already that it is official. I entered the race for Attorney General of our beautiful state of New Mexico, the land of enchantment, the Tierra del Encanto, the 47th star on that beautiful flag of the United States of America. And I'm really humbled and privileged at the response you provided. I mean, I don't think I've ever had 1,000 likes on a post. I know that Ambassador Lechuga Tena, she always gets 1,000 likes on all her stuff. She's a media.
Oh, I wish.
But we got like 1,000 likes and a few hundred comments on there, and my heart is really full. This is going to be a really wonderful journey. I hope you'll join me on it, and if you'd like to, you can put a comment in the comments section. Thank you, Christina Chavarria. I don't even think I saw the newspaper story by the time you had, Christina, and you're already posting it out there in the world and offering up support, which I'm grateful for. Good morning, Dr. Lawrence Roybal. Good to see you this morning. Great to have you, Steffi Mack. That's the good Dr. Mack right there. Roz, good to see you. Dr. Joe McCaffrey. Hey, Dr. McCaffrey, check this out. Luna Community College. Now let me talk about, let me just wrap up my AG here. So there's a great link on Channel 4. Patrick did a beautiful job interviewing me and talking about my priorities to really serve the state of New Mexico in this journey that is a journey of gratitude and service to my community. And Patrick did a great job. Patrick Hayes, Channel 4 KOB. I'll try and post a link in the chat probably later today. And then the Journal did a very informative piece, as did Pete Dinelli. Pete Dinelli really took a different approach, and it was very kind of him to do. He actually highlighted kind of my journey of community service and my board work, my community engagement, and I appreciated that very much. So stay tuned, stand by, engage with me if you're willing to believe and join this team, the Colon for New Mexico. Please put your note there in the chat, and we'll take down your name, email, and phone number. We'll add you to the volunteer list. Lots of exciting things getting ready to happen with this campaign, and I'm really humbled by the support. In politics, a lot of folks sit on the sidelines, right? And they watch to see what's going to happen in the political landscape, because we're kind of early. We're the first to the table to say, yes, I'm hoping to serve and make New Mexico a safe place and a prosperous place in all 33 counties. But there'll be others that get in. But so many of you didn't wait to see what was going to happen. You just said, yes, we're standing with you. And in politics, that means so much. And it's personal for me. And I hope you'll join me on that journey of service. So let me get back to what I love doing, which is shining a spotlight on excellence in New Mexico. And when we talk about excellence, we can talk about Luna Community College. They gave me the honor and privilege of providing the commencement address yesterday. And I got to tell you, it was the first time in 14 months that I provided remarks to a live audience of a lot of people. And it was unbelievable. I was energized like you can't believe. I had just such a beautiful time. The trustees were so gracious to invite me and the president. I really enjoyed sharing my thoughts with those beautiful students up there in San Miguel County, Condado de San Miguel, in Las Vegas, New Mexico, the original seat of the governor of New Mexico. And then here's another fun fact. Luna Community College. Well, Luna Community College is named after Maximiliano Luna. And do you know that Max Luna was the one and only Hispano captain in Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders? And I brought that up yesterday. Yeah, he was the only Hispano captain in the Rough Riders. Look that up if you don't know about the story of the Rough Riders, Roosevelt's Rough Riders. Check it out. It's beautiful New Mexico history.
Wow.
And a lot of those students didn't know the story. So I was able to share with them a little bit of insight about Maximiliano Luna and him being a captain in the Rough Riders. And of course, it's awesome because guess where Max Luna's from? Anybody know?
I don't.
Condado de Valencia. He's a Valenciano like me.
Wow.
So there was that great connection, and it was just a beautiful day up in San Miguel County yesterday. It was great to be in Las Vegas and share with those wonderful students who graduated from a beautiful community college that really lifts up northern New Mexico. So that was my day yesterday. I'm flying the flag today for Luna Community College. I try and turn around and show the back, which shows the Rough Riders. I thought I'll turn around, but if I stand up, I'll show the wrong part of my body. So there's the Rough Riders of Luna Community College. I love you all. Thank you for hosting me yesterday. Thanks to all the trustees and the leadership and all the educators up there, especially Dr. Roybal, who is one of the directors of the division there, Antonia Roybal-Mack, and my buddy Nathaniel Roybal's mom. And they got like a bunch of brothers and sisters, like a lot of kids. But the Roybal family, they're from Mora. They're really a beautiful family of highly educated, highly impactful folks, and she leads one of the divisions there at Luna Community College, and I got to see her yesterday, so that was a lot of fun. So it's 9:07. I'm going to go to my guests early today because I've got three real superstars, and I want to spend as much time as I possibly can with them. I've had to cut their bios down a lot because if you Google these folks, they are leaders who make a difference every day. And so I'm going to try and be brief on the bios so we can really talk a lot about why they're involved with Los Puentes and how they think they're making a difference. So let me start out by bringing everybody to camera. Here are the four wonderful, look at all these nice comments. Good morning, Selena Sierra, who always joins me. Selena, you never miss. And Lala, good to see you this morning. And Catherine, thank you for joining me again. And good to see Joan Day Baker. Joan, thank you for your leadership down there in Valencia County, and thanks for getting on the Colón train early. You're right there at the front of the line. Sunny was one of my all-time best volunteers on Team Colón over these last couple of races, and thank you for your support again, Sunny. So with that, let me start introducing my guests. Look at this trifecta of awesomeness that I have this morning. Look at these three incredible Hispanas who are leading this amazing, amazing educational institution known as Los Puentes Charter School. And they have $1 million smiles, even Pilar. Pilar, where's your smile? Mira, there it is. There it is. I knew she had it with her because I saw it earlier today. So let me just start out with some introductions here. Let me start out with the board member who's joined us today. We've got a couple board members. Idalia is a board member, Anna's a board member, and Pilar is a board member. And let me just say that
Anna is actually the principal, Brian.
Excuse me, you're exactly
Sorry.
right. I'm glad you did, because I was thinking, wait, I had the leader of the school and two board members, and now I'm looking at my notes and it says board member for everybody. That's my mistake, and that's what happens when I Google too fast and pull down all this information off the web. Anna is the visionary. She is really an amazing leader in education who has now just become the force that leads Los Puentes. She's been the head administrator since last year, and really brings an important perspective to education because Anna is a single mom. She has three beautiful children who I think are all youngsters. No, I think your eldest is 14. Is that right?
That's right.
Amazing. And what I think I love most about Ana and the leadership that she brings to Los Puentes Charter School as principal is that she is an immigrant. She's an immigrant from Chihuahua, Mexico. She understands what that journey looks like and feels like, and that means that when young people with that background look up, they see a reflection of themselves and see an amazing educator. Ana came to the United States at the age of 10, and she got to know Albuquerque's one of our most beautiful neighborhoods in our city of Albuquerque, Barelas, which is where my favorite coffee house is. Everybody knows they can find me in Barelas often. She's a graduate of my son's alma mater. See all my son's Albuquerque High Bulldog stuff there. She is a Bulldog. And then she went to serve with distinction in the same branch of the military where my mom served, in the United States Navy. Ana continued to pursue a career in the field of information technology after she was discharged from service. At the age of 31, she realized that she had greater greater opportunities to make a difference and contribution to our community. And she changed from a corporate career and decided to become an education professional. And not only that, she took the path less traveled by most educators. And the path less traveled is in special education, serving some of our most beautiful students. Ana served, like Aleli, my bride, in a Title I district and alternative schools, teaching in cross-categorical and inclusive classrooms. The inclusion classrooms are really something that has changed the educational landscape for students on both sides of inclusivity. Whether you're a student with special needs or you're a traditional student who receives education in the traditional way, inclusion education enriches both sides of the equation. And that's something that I always like to make sure people understand. She got her postmaster's certificate and received her New Mexico pre-K to 12 administrative license. And she served in various roles before she accepted her school turnaround assignment at Los Puentes Charter School. Today, she serves this at-promise population on the brink of greatness and leads a team of incredible professionals devoted to preparing students for community and post-secondary life. Ana Phillips, welcome to Cafecito con Colón.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you. I was going to make your introduction a little shorter, but I got carried away. You're too awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait to visit with you. I'm going to start, Ana, on our visit after I introduce our two other guests. I want to start with, you've had such a path of distinction. How is it that you chose to take this incredible opportunity to lift up what is a challenged landscape and a challenged group of stakeholders? Because the greater the challenge, the greater the opportunity, but also the greater the risk for the professional, right? Because I'm thinking about that as I decided to not run for re-election, which is the path most frequently traveled, and taking this huge risk, but it's also that amazing opportunity. I want to hear about that thought process for you when I come to you first. Okay, Ana?
Okay.
All right. So let me also tell you, I get to serve on the New Mexico Hispanic Heritage Committee with amazing folks. And two of those folks are here today. But Pilar Alcázar has done an amazing job of leaning in and engaging with our work. And she was born in La Paz, Bolivia. And she's lived in New Mexico for over 4 decades now. And she's got a bachelor's in science, a master's in special education. She's a retired educator who worked in the traditional APS system for 30 years in science, Spanish, and dance. She also coordinated the bilingual program at the high school level, where that was the place where they instituted the amazing bilingual SEAL program, which in my humble opinion was the thing that Rafael did at Albuquerque High School that allowed him to become a presidential scholar at the George Washington University. I really believe that made a substantial difference in his application. So I'm very grateful for the bilingual SEAL program because I still have a couple dollars left in my wallet because George Washington gave him a big scholarship. She has received commendations from the New Mexico State Legislature, from the APS Board of Education. She also has a trans-service business related to translation, interpretation, and educational services that she owns. She's a certified ballroom teacher in Zumba and La Blast. She's been a part of the dance team at CSP Dance Studios. She's a board member, of course, at Los Puentes, and she's a member of LULAC and the New Mexico Hispanic Heritage Committee. And I'm fortunate to call her friend. Pilar Alcázar, welcome to Cafecito con Colón.
Thank you,
Yay.
Brian. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm even more happy. And that's not very good grammar, so I should say happier. But I'm happier to have you on Cafecito con Colón. Thanks for joining us today, Pilar.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for your board service. And then finally, the third in the trifecta is the person who I've known the longest. She is the Honorable Idalia Lechuga Tena, and she is the youngest female legislator we've had in the first naturalized woman from Mexico to serve in the New Mexico legislature in the history of our great state, which is only 109 short years, but she is the one and only to have been able to do that. She represented Albuquerque's District 21, the International District. She's a proud inmigrante who holds dual citizenship with the United States of America and Mexico. Representing the United States, she's an international ambassador for the Global Embassy of Activists for Peace. She's an entrepreneur, rancher, artist, avid violinist, community activist, animal lover, and philanthropist. And she also speaks like 25 languages. How many languages do you speak, Idalia?
4, well, 5. It's considered, the 5th one is music. My teacher always says, if you can read and write music, that is a language. So 5.
5?
But
I
I
thought she
can,
was gonna-
you know,
Hey,
I can
hey,
understand
Anna,
about 7.
Anna, I was going to say, I thought she was going to say that she spoke 5. Her 5th language is the language of love.
Of love.
So she probably speaks 6 languages, including her music and the language of love. She is the owner of ILT International LLC, which is a consulting firm that offers services in international business expansion, government and political affairs, and marketing and PR in English, Spanish, French, and Italian, and music. She is also a rancher and recently started a winery in partnership with her parents at their ranch in Chihuahua, Mexico. Her degrees are in economics, political science, international politics, all from the University of New Mexico. She's also got an international studies concentration in several countries such as Chihuahua, Pamplona, and Paris, France. She's fluent in those 4 languages she talked about. She's lived in Mexico, Spain, France, Germany, and traveled to over 60 countries around the world. She's a published McNair Scholar with their ROP program, which is a research opportunity program at UNM. Her electronic academic research book on the positive effects of the immigration spectrum in the United States in the economic and political sector with a concentration in Latino immigration was translated into Spanish and French and was presented in conferences in the universities throughout United States, Mexico, and Spain. She's really an incredible leader. She's got a bio that runs about 25 pages, and I can only read one of them. And I'm so thrilled to be able to say, welcome to my friend Idalia Lechuga Tena, the Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Auditor. Thank you for hosting us this morning, and good morning to everyone watching us today.
You bet. And Idalia, my first question to you when we come back, we're going to start with Anna, but when I come back to you, I want to say you serve on a lot of boards, whether it's addressing the issues of housing security, food security, all of these important areas in our community, and of course with the New Mexico Hispanic Heritage Committee, which preserves and promotes our culture, our people, our herencia. What makes you so passionate and why have you leaned in so intently with Los Puentes? And I'll let you answer that one first when we come back to you. But let's start with Anna Phillips. I'm going to put the spotlight on you, and I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to where you are, and why did you take on this awesome opportunity?
Yeah, I think I can say from day one, when I saw a need for empowering young people, I was working in the corporate world, and it was conducting interviews with recent high school grads. And I just thought that we could empower people at that age to be better prepared for life. So that journey started, when I decided to change into education as a career. I went back to school. I did my alternative licensure. And like I said, in special ed, I found my passion. I definitely believe still very strongly in human potential. I know that with the proper support, every young person, they are our future leaders. So they need that empowerment and they need that support. And I do believe that it takes a village. So when I became an educator, I decided it was time to get my hands dirty, so to speak, and that hasn't stopped. Los Puentes, it serves a very special need in our community. It is an alternative setting for students in 7th or 12th. And those are the students that have not typically found a great experience in their neighborhood school for a reason or another. And after having served at a very large school as an administrator, I was an assistant principal at Jimmy Carter on the west side of Albuquerque. I know that I could do more for students in this position. So when I learned about the opportunity to turn the school around, I just knew it was for me. That's how I came to be the head administrator here at Los Puentes, and we're working very hard. I work with a great team of very dedicated educators and support personnel to increase the achievement scores in every subject for students, as well as to increase their emotional intelligence as they journey through the middle and the high school setting.
Let me interrupt you just for a second, because I think it's so important for you to define emotional intelligence, because I think it's a concept we don't talk about enough. Please.
Absolutely. A person can be prepared academically. You know, when they exit this this setting here, when they finish their school journey, they are faced with the rest of the world. They are faced with stressors. They are faced with interpersonal relationship conflicts and complications, and having that ability to really relate to others in a productive manner, to build the networks, and to be able to find that regulation for themselves is going to make that difference for a person to be successful or not. So we do engage in a lot of social emotional learning so that a person can be properly equipped emotionally and behaviorally once they exit once they transition into the real world.
Feel free to carry on about now that you landed there. What did you find? Because a lot of times when we take these opportunities, we have a sense of what we might be getting into, and then we actually get behind the curtain, and it turns out to be even a little different. What was your biggest surprise when you got started there at Los Puentes?
Yeah, I was very surprised to find just that caring support. The driving force of the school is the teachers and the staff. I really thought when I came in thinking this is a turnaround school, we're going to have to change, you know, just about every practice. No, that wasn't the case. Everything is in the right place. We just had to fine tune our practices to ensure that we are aligning our curriculum to standards, that we are holding students to a high expectation, and that, you know, that we carry on with the mission of the principal that was here before me and those in the past from the school's inception. I really have been honored to work with the people that I work with that fill this building every day. Their hearts are big and they're in the right place. I believe that, you know, just with time and a little bit of more focused effort, I know that our students can reach greatness. And I know that's about to happen here in the next year or two.
I think that's exactly right. I am optimistic just as you are. And it's always wonderful to see leaders like yourself who understand that their leadership is really based on the stakeholders who they get to work with every day. And for you to be able to really lift up and celebrate those educators you're surrounded with and the people that help make Los Puentes possible shows that your leadership is really centered in the right place, and that is in people. And so I want to applaud that. Thank you for that. Let's go over to Pilar Alcázar, who, you know, an immigrante also, and just someone who brings a very unique perspective, because not only is she from Bolivia, but she's also been incredibly involved in the traditional delivery system for education in Albuquerque, that is APS, and had been there pre-charter when there was any, you know, there wasn't that choice for our families, and looked at what was available and said, we can do more, and really became a leader in delivery systems for bilingual education. And so, I mean, there are just so few of you that were trailblazers in that regard. And so I'm really honored to have you on Cafecito and grateful because Rafael going to Albuquerque High School and being able to get that bilingual seal was really, I think, outcome determinative in his journey. He's now a biomedical engineer from the George Washington University. It's amazing. And Albuquerque High did that for him. And so Pilar, not only do I applaud you generally, I specifically want to say thank you because you've made a difference in my family. So Pilar, tell us why you lean in and you serve with your heart at Los Puentes Charter School.
When this opportunity presented itself, I was so excited because I didn't mention in my bio, I work in my whole career with at-risk population and also with the homeless APS project. So my heart was always in empowering these students to help them in any way that was possible to be successful. When I was at Rio Grande High School many years ago, we worked with immigrants and I saw the wealth that they had of another language. So we worked with the University of New Mexico, and I was so blessed to have a supporter, the Dean of Students at that time, that helped us empower these students. And we had about 20 students get into the university. And my joy is when I go out and I see, and I do interpretations with APS, I see these students. I see them as counselors. I see them as teachers. I know someone is an engineer somewhere working with the Ford. And I think se puede. And that's what I was so excited about Los Puentes, because they are trying to do that. They are trying to empower these students to make them successful in life and not just say, oh, you cannot do it, or you're not capable, because I encountered also that in the bilingual seal. At first, we had very heavy discussions about it because they thought that bilingual seal, they could give that to just students who spoke Spanish and had like maybe 1.8 GPA. And I say, no, these students are capable. They can do it. They can have 3.5. They can get ahead in life. So being as a part of the board, which is an experience that I don't have too much experience with the boards, to be honest with you, but this will bring me bring my fire back to support Anna, to see what else the school can do to make all the students successful in life.
Well, Pilar, let me just say that I think some of the best board members are the ones that necessarily don't have a ton of experience, because you bring a fresh perspective and a wonderful approach to the work you do. And for you, more than experience, you bring your heart and your expertise. And that's what makes you such an incredible addition to the board at Los Puentes. So thank you for that. And thanks for the perspective that you do bring. And thanks for being on Cafecito con Colón today.
Excited. Thank you, Brian.
You bet. So let's go to my friend Idalia. Idalia, why don't you tell us a little bit about why this has become such a passion point for you? I know you've always cared about education, but you've got so many areas that you pour into. And I know this has become one that is kind of banging at the top of your list. And so tell us why that is, Idalia.
Thank you. So I was invited to join the board, and the reason I joined this board, Los Puentes Charter School, it's because this school provides, like our principal Anna Phillips mentioned earlier, it provides emotional support, it provides mental support, behavioral education to a lot of students that maybe a regular APS school did not work out for them, or another school did not.
Idalia, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. Your camera switched off for some reason. There it is. Now you're back.
Sorry.
On. Go ahead.
Oh, this is specific for students that may that a regular school have maybe didn't work out for them, APS, or maybe another kind of school, and it offers the emotional support, the behavioral support, the mental support, and schools like these are very unique. And, you know, a lot of our kids, a lot of our youth has encountered any type, you know, different types of trauma, or, you know, different things. Maybe they're immigrants, and, you know, it's challenging, right? Life is challenging. So I really admire the mission of Los Puentes, that they focus on that, you know, in a different approach of education, right? And that's why I wanted to join, because, you know, no one's perfect. Sometimes people need second chances, and, you know, sometimes our youth has traumas that it's beyond their control, right, to have. And I really admire that mission, and that is why well, I'm honored that they voted me in first. So I'm honored to participate and help, and I'm very excited to work with a phenomenal group of leaders in our community, like, you know, Miss Anna Phillips, who's, I didn't know, Anna, that you were an immigrant too. We're all immigrants in this group. I did not know that. And I know Pilar, because, you know, I've known Pilar for a while, and actually Pilar and I danced ballet together, Brian, with
Wow.
Patricia Dickinson.
We
Yeah.
love Patricia, that's for sure.
Yes. So it's yeah, I really enjoy the difference in the board, right? And all of them have been board members for many years. I'm the newest one. I just joined this year.
Nice.
But everybody has been there, oh my goodness, 10 plus 10 years. And, you know, if they like me, I'd like to stay on and continue to help and grow and recruit.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Let me go back to Ana for the purpose of helping our viewers on Cafecito con Colon really get a sense of what do you see as the profile, maybe, when parents are thinking about where they might want to put in for the lottery to get into a charter school, because they believe that having a choice in educational delivery systems is important for their particular student. Tell me about what you think is the perfect profile, or maybe perfect's not the right word, optimal profile, or what kind of family or student would be and should be attracted to look at your model and the delivery system that you have.
Brian, we use a team approach here at Los Puentes to really wrap around the student. And so I know that there are families there that have really suffered through this pandemic. Students were, you know, in some cases left at home to basically participate in remote learning for the last year. One thing we're really good at here at Los Puentes is to getting students back on track. So, you know, especially when it comes to the high school years, there are specific requirements by the PED for a student to graduate. And if a student has missed an opportunity to pass a class or to pass a particular assessment, they become off track. They no longer can do it within the 4 years. Los Puentes provides that credit recovery option, and we don't just enroll them in classes. We do have a full advisory program that helps the students to really achieve at their highest potential, to be able to overcome any challenges they've had in the past with particular subjects. In addition, we do have 2 full-time social workers, and every student gets connected with one right at enrollment. So when a family decides to seek an alternative setting, whether it be because the discipline rules at some schools did not work for their students' needs, or they needed just a more individualized approach and not necessarily carry an IEP, they come and enroll here with us, and we do a full needs assessment. I meet with the new families that are enrolling because I want to know them. I want to know the background of the student, any struggles that they may have faced, and then we create an individualized plan of support for them. We also have a case manager, and that's thanks to a grant that we got through Bernalillo County's Behavioral Health Initiative. And in next year, we're going to have a second full-time case manager, so that any families with any particular needs, whether it be housing or job search assistance or food insecurity, we will have those people mobilized at the, you know, at the click of a button there. Once we send an email, they do home visits, and again, they help out in any way that they can, connecting them to community resources. So any family, I think of myself. I am a single mom with 3 kids, and going back to the whole concept, it really does take a village. There's only so far I can go. I'm working full time. I know that my kids need help with homework. I know that they need help, when they've had a stressful day. And we build a network here at Los Puentes, and families can rely on us to be able to help their students succeed. I think there's great power in a student who feels capable and who feels they can be successful. And I really do believe that students here at Los Puentes feel that way. It's like a big family.
I love that. I love that. What is the if you had to boil it down to the nugget, after 20 years of serving the community, and I know you've referred to it a couple times as a turnaround opportunity. So obviously you've done some self-assessment with the board and had determined that there's some ideas and some areas for opportunity of increasing the excellence. But what's that nugget that sets it apart from other educational delivery system, other charters, the traditional system? What's that thing that really, that one thing, if you had a family or if you had somebody saying, let me just tell you, Los Puentes is different because fill in the blank.
Because we do offer that individualized approach. We're a small school. We know our students, we know their needs, and we're able to tailor interventions for meeting their needs, which can't always be done at a very large school.
I love that. Pilar, when you think about your work here at Los Puentes, why Los Puentes above and beyond all other places where you could be serving on a board that makes a difference in education? Why Los Puentes?
Because I think Los Puentes, like Ana said, has a different approach. They don't see just cookie cutter instruction, the individualized instruction. If it's a kid who can excel, they approach that in that matter. If it's a kid who is a special ed, they individualize their plan for their needs. The other thing that is super important is the emotional component, which in many schools that is not taken in consideration. And I think that is super important due to the many challenges that students have nowadays.
Sure. Can you give us a sense of what it was like working within the APS system as you increased the capacity with bilingual education and the bilingual seal? Was there resistance? Was there an instant understanding of the value that would bring to our students here in Albuquerque Public Schools? Or maybe tell us just give us a little insight to what that was like.
I'm talking about almost 30 years ago, and things were very different. I'm so glad that now everybody is so excited about the bilingual seal. At first, it was not the case.
Imagine Idalia and Ana were just little girls.
Yes, don't say it. But it was a challenge. I'm going to tell you 2 things that I noticed when I started teaching. I noticed a big difference between our New Mexican students and the students from Mexico. So when I arrived to the classroom, they would not get along. And I said, what's wrong with this picture? Why they don't get along? We are all Hispanics. We should be, and that was just to find that component to make them comfortable with each other was a challenge. And to say, okay, we are from New Mexico, we have a wealth here. We need to exploit the language and make it successful, and you can obtain your bilingual seal. And you are from Mexico, you have the wealth of the language, and you need to improve your English. Learn your English, and then you can get your bilingual seal. But the concept at that point was, okay, we are going to give the bilingual seal to the students who speak Spanish. And that was not the case. I will say, no, the student has to be bilingual. So it was kind of confusion at that point, also with the bilingual programs. And I'm so happy that things are so different now. They have classes in Spanish, classes in English. That was actually my dream in those days. And you know, probably people already forgot about the work, the groundwork that we did with Carlos Chavez. I don't know if you knew him, but that was done in those days, and it was difficult. It was challenging, but I'm glad that now it's in full force. You know, the kids feel proud of their language. They wanna have the bilingual seal. In those days was a little bit different.
It really was, and I appreciate your tenacity and your commitment to the changing the system and pushing back on that negativity at the concept, because now you know, our education system, when it embraces bilingual education, it's actually consistent with our constitution in New Mexico. We are the one state that is officially dual language, and I just really appreciate you being one of those trailblazers that said, yes, we can do this differently, and it will enrich our students, because I know it has certainly my student and many other students. So I appreciate you.
I should mention something. Sorry, Brian, to interrupt.
That's
This
okay.
idea didn't come from me, but it came from Rio Grande. It was a science teacher and a lady from, I think it was from the Midwest or something like that. And say, we have a well here. How about if we create a bilingual seal? And that teacher said, oh, you know, we grabbing the idea and start pushing it. So the idea came from just a science teacher, and that was fantastic, you know, and it happened.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you. Idalia and Ana, maybe both of you, I'd love to, one of the things that I found when I looked at the website and talks about Los Puentes Charter School, and one of the things I did not know was that it was founded by the same person who was the incredible leader of Hogares, which provided just such important mental health and behavioral health support services. But unfortunately, they fell victim after many years of service to the behavioral health debacle that occurred several years ago in New Mexico. But so that was an interesting data point to me that I did not know about. And the other thing that I thought was fascinating was that you actually like intentionally set out to say, okay, this is what we want to do in our school. We want to lift up these important values. And one of the values that is on your website you talk about is bringing a shared humor to the school and a positive attitude. And for me, like, that's who I am. I love that. I mean, I think those are two really important intentional things that we should be embracing: humor and excellence through positivity. And so tell me, maybe Idalia, if you have some thoughts on that, because I think that's a little different. I don't think I've ever seen on an education website talking about embracing humor as part of the learning environment. And I found that to be fascinating. And I know Idalia is pretty quick to crack a joke. And so what do you think about that, Idalia? And then Ana, maybe you can give us some fun examples of how you really embrace that positivity and humor at your school.
I mean, I think, you know, I think having a positive attitude and, you know, maybe not taking things too serious, and always just, you know, having a positive, good energy is always important. And the fact that Los Puentes promotes that is phenomenal. You know, I think, you know, Ana probably has more to say about that, but, you know, it's not just the emotional, the mental health, the behavioral health, you know, it's just absolutely an amazing school. You know, I wanted to share something real quick. There are a lot of diseases. I like natural healing and, you know, the curanderismo. I was fortunate enough to take a class with Dr. Cheo Torres at the University of New Mexico, which focuses on natural healing. And one of the things that the shamans that came and doctors that came to speak with us was that a lot of diseases are caused because of a untreated emotional trauma. So when you have 3 major untreated emotional traumas, like a big death in the family, for example, maybe a car accident, and, you know, or maybe a big breakup, if you don't treat your traumas, they manifest into a physical symptom. And then you start getting maybe a chronic headache or, chronic pain in your back or, anything. And the fact that this school focuses on emotional well-being is phenomenal. Because if more schools would focus on that, I think our world would be much different.
I love that. I appreciate that. And I couldn't agree more. Ana?
Yes, definitely. Just like Idalia said, that is a big part of just emotional well-being. And so we do start out with the staff, and it rolls down all the way to the rest of our community. Just to give you some examples, at our professional development at the start of the school year, we did so many fun things, and staff were wondering, are we going to get to work? And I kept reminding them, we have to laugh together right now, because as the school year unfolds, and especially this year with the pandemic and all of the different changes that teachers had to go through, it's important to laugh together so we can stay working together. And another aspect of that is that humor, it has a very good effect on, diffusing stressful situations. We have to remember that our current generation that we are serving right now, our young people, are the most stressed out generation that there ever has been. There are so many different sources of stress for that generation, and humor diffuses that. It's a great tool. And so we embrace it here at Los Puentes.
I love that. Let's see. Why don't we go to Idalia and talk a little bit about what's the unique perspective and value and approach maybe that you bring to the board that may be different. I know that you are brand new to the board, so you don't have that long-standing board culture that may be pre-existing to your arrival. What do you hope to bring that's slightly different? And Pilar, I'll probably ask you maybe the same question, because I think it's important. Every board member brings a certain perspective, set of values, and approach to their board work. And so tell us about that, Idalia.
Thank you. So I hope to bring a different approach in regards to maybe more marketing, but marketing and PR with the rest of the community. I know that we just became a member of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, and that's amazing, right? Because little by little, I didn't know about Los Puentes Charter School, right? So and I'm pretty involved in the community. So my goal is to get the name out there, not only with our community here and in different organizations, but maybe in the political sector as well. A lot of state senators, state representatives may not know about Los Puentes Charter, and they may have constituents that, maybe the APS or the different, the school system may not be working for their constituents. And it's just good for them to know and be aware, well, there is a school that will support children and kids that the regular school system unfortunately is not working for them for whatever reason. So I think the government affairs portion of it, I think I really want to expand. I also serve on two other boards that I really enjoy. Meals on Wheels. I would like Los Puentes to, maybe we could partner with Meals on Wheels of Albuquerque. We are the biggest Meals on Wheels of the state. And what we do is we try to alleviate hunger in the city. And actually, we deliver to, Belen and other, places near Albuquerque. But a lot of our children don't, or students may have food insecurity, and that would be something that we can partner, or I can bring Los Puentes to partner up with, so that we can collaborate. I think that when different organizations, if we start talking and have a dialogue, I think we could really partner up in beautiful ways. So food insecurity, yes, we can get meals delivered to our students. And then also capital outlay. I was very successful this year in getting capital outlay for two boards. For Meals on Wheels, I was able to get $180,600 for them. And for Mana de Albuquerque, I was able to get $179,000. So, I'd like to bring some of that money to capital outlay money to Los Puentes. I know that they have gotten some money, but we can use more because we can rebuild and remodel some of the structure that needs to be done there in Los Puentes. And then also we're working on a project, and I don't know, Ana, if you want to announce it, or you're the principal, maybe you should announce it.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we go to Ana? Because I know that there's a special event coming up, I think next week. We wanted to make sure and get you on this episode of Cafecito con Colon because it's really timely, because I think you have a big announcement coming up. And why don't you tell us all about that, Ana Phillips, Honorable Principal.
Thank you. And yes, we are very excited. You just mentioned Nancy Jo Archer. She is the founder of Los Puentes Charter School. You know her from her great accomplishments, especially in mobilizing hogares. And we're very honored that the board of Los Puentes decided to name this campus. So we are purchasing the building, and like Idalia said, it does need a great deal of improvement, especially in the recreational spaces. But we also are making this campus a tribute to Nancy Jo Archer, to honor her commitments to our community. And so we are combining our 2021 commencement ceremony, which happens on Thursday, May 20th, here on campus at 11 a.m. We are also rolling in a campus naming ceremony so that we can name Los Puentes Charter School's home here, this building on 4th Street, the Nancy Jo Archer campus. And so, yes, the Hispano Chamber of Commerce will be here. They'll be doing a ribbon cutting. And of course, all of the very wonderful, dedicated members of the board will be here, as will be Miss Nancy Jo Archer to receive this honor. We've given the front of our building a little facelift. We're installing some wonderful signs that will honor her commitments and contributions to the school. And we're very, very excited about this event.
Well, that is a big deal. Congratulations on honoring such a great New Mexican who's made a difference, not just in the educational landscape of our state, but also in the behavioral health and mental health areas and all the other things that Ms. Archer's done. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be open to the public. We've got some new health orders in place that give us a little more flexibility, or a new health order in place that gives us some flexibility. What are your plans in terms of community engagement in this exciting event?
Well, we are definitely all set up to bring it live on Facebook. We do know that there's a lot of people that are still not vaccinated that are preferring to keep their distance. We will definitely have all of our graduates. We are graduating 27 young men and women, and we will have their families here. We have sent out invitations to all of our community leaders, from the PED to our authorizer APS. And then of course, any stakeholder within the Hogares community and all of those supporters here of the school. But we would love anybody else to inquire. They can call our school and let us know that we're coming so that we can make room for them. And we will be happy to host them here on Thursday.
Awesome. So for ribbon cutting information, what number should they dial?
They can call the main number, which is 505-342-5959. And again,
awesome.
we'll be streaming live on Facebook.
That's great. And would that be at your Facebook page?
Yes, they can go and search Los Puentes. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. What are some of the other events before we wrap up? If you got some other events, we got about 5 minutes left, and then we'll go over to Pilar and get Pilar's thoughts about all this exciting stuff. But do you have some other events coming up?
Well, of course, we're honoring our 8th grade class. We're doing that on May 26th as we move them up into the high school ranks. And then over the summer, we will be, accepting any community assistance. Again, we collaborated with CNM, and CNM had a class of planning and design who came on site, surveyed our community, and they created a plan for a redesign of our landscaping to create some recreational space for our students. So we would definitely welcome any community assistance, be it donations or lending a helping hand in making that plan a reality for our students.
I love that. And this, the grade levels that you serve, we might have hit it, but I want to just go ahead and hit that one more time.
Yes, it's 7th through 12th.
Okay, terrific.
And we are open for enrollment on our website.
I love that. I love that. Pilar, what are some of your thoughts in these last few minutes before we sign off? I did put the Facebook page for Los Puentes in the comment section. I just personally started following it. I don't know how it was that I wasn't following Los Puentes, but I am now. And I encourage you to do the same. Pilar, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, I would like to support Ana in recruitment, get more awareness to the community that this is a school that will make students successful. And I also, I was for a brief period of time a community school coordinator. I will also like to support in that area, connecting the school with different agencies, since I have a little bit of experience on that, so they can also support the school. And one more thing, I want those students, help Ana make those students successful because sí se puede no matter what.
Sí se puede. I
Sí
love
se
it.
puede.
And that makes you a perfect board member. Well, I want to go back to, I want to say thank you to Idalia Lechugatena for initiating this opportunity to shine a great spotlight on a great school that is on the rise, thanks to its amazing principal and the leadership of the board. So we're just so thrilled that you all were able to join us today on this episode of Cafecito con Colón. Ana, you have a final message for our viewers?
Yes, I'm so overjoyed by the community support. And I just wanted to say that we all here at Los Puentes believe in every single one of our students. So we thank you for the opportunity to serve them.
You bet. You bet. And thank you for your leadership and thanks for your commitment. You've all got private sector experience, and you, honorable principal, you came directly from private sector and then decided to take a deep dive in education. And you could be an educational professional, earning a lot more. What's the polite way I can't even figure out the polite way to say this. Let me just say this. You've made a decision to forego financial gains so that you could pour into a part of our community that sometimes doesn't get the attention it deserves. So I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. It's an honor.
You bet. So friends on Cafecito con Colón, thanks for coming today on this Sábado Gigante as we shined a spotlight on Los Puentes Charter School, two amazing board members and its leader, its principal for the past year, and she's going to do a great job. We're getting ready to rename the campus there. That's coming up. Make sure you call in or check in, watch on the Facebook live stream to get to see that amazing ribbon cutting and this great community asset take it to the next level. Join me again on Friday. We will be back with our New Mexico Hispanic Heritage Committee and Enlace New Mexico episode of Cafecito con Colón, where we're actually going to do some multicultural approach, because we're going to put a spotlight on this ending of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're gonna shine a spotlight on the Honorable Lance Sena, our Albuquerque City Councilor. Aleli, who my bride, she was featured on a great panel this week. She did a beautiful job on there, but we're going to bring Lance Sena on Cafecito con Colón to discuss a little bit about her lived experience and then her thoughts about Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. That's going to be on Friday at 9 o'clock. So join us again on Cafecito con Colón. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for your support for Colón for Attorney General. And thanks to Los Puentes Charter School for making a difference in our community with an incredibly important, diverse population. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Auditor. Thank you so much.
Have
Thank
a
you,
great weekend,
Brian.
everybody.
That was a pleasure.
Pleasure
Bye-bye.
was mine. Thank you, Pilar. Thank you,
Thank
Idalia.
you.
And thank you, Ana.
Thank
Adios.
you.
Adios.
Bye.
Buen fin de semana.